Mm. Good evening, everyone. It's lovely to be back with you. Mm. My energy level shifts a lot. For those of you who doesn't know, I shared this morning that the other day I got to know that one of my closest and most important people on this earth was diagnosed with acute leukemia. So that's the reason for my absence yesterday. I needed to have all the energy that I have for me to be able to hold myself in all the emotions that is right now. But it's also important to hold the rhythm and the routine and the things that gives me balance and helps me to feel the essence of life. And being here with all of you every evening does that for me. It helps me to give the balance and to feel the richness of life. So I'm so grateful that you are here with me, no matter if it's an easier or a tougher day. Today is one of the tougher days for me, but being here with you gives me meaning and hope. And with a feeling of meaning and hope, it doesn't matter how much pain you go through, because you know that there's a reason to keep going. So thank you for being that for me. Hey, Anita. Beautiful to have you here. Oh, thank you. Knowing that you are here gives me so much meaning and so much hope. We are reading from the chapter about South, about Indigenous Virtues. We're diving into honesty and integrity. Honesty and integrity may seem like terms that are interchangeable, but they're really quite different. Honesty is an internal moral value, while integrity represents the actions we do in our everyday lives. The Lakota associate honesty and integrity with the South because the spirit realm has the highest level of interaction in our life when we're most free of self-delusion and self-righteousness. This clarity comes from our self-work of clearing the obstacles that obscure our sense of honesty and integrity. This work entails seeing and celebrating life and understanding who we are meant to be. It means working with the lessons of the second medicine, and it takes getting our mindset positioned in a good way, observing our intentions from a place of honesty and acting with integrity in our day-to-day life are the lessons the South offers to teach us. Let's look further into each of these values. Honesty. At some point, we may have promised somebody something that made us sound good and righteous, but we honestly knew all along that we weren't going to do anything we said we were going to do. Sometimes desecrating our honesty is done consciously, but sometimes we sabotage ourselves unconsciously. This can show up in scenarios as significant as putting people at risk, betraying someone's love or trust, or it may show up in small situations like telling little white lies. Either way, Being dishonest is unnecessarily destructive in many different ways, and even the smallest piece of dishonesty will impede us on our spiritual journey. Besides, being honest simply saves everyone a lot of time. But we must explore our sense of honesty, or the honesty of other persons, very carefully, because complete honesty comes with a powerful clarity that we may not be prepared to handle. Honesty is an internal value, and it requires a tremendous amount of work to clear away all the lies, excuses, and stories we tell ourselves to keep us protected from seeing ourselves as inadequate, unimportant, or vulnerable, and to avoid accountability to ourselves and others. It isn't easy, but if we don't do the work to come to terms with our internal sense of honesty, we will continue suppressing our ability to see ourselves with total clarity. Most of us love the concept of complete honesty, right until it's time to be completely honest with ourselves. But this level of complete honesty is the most significant step we can take on our journey to self-actualization. The point where we are living up to our potential through the universal principles of harmony, wisdom, joy, and love. Being honest with yourself can oftentimes be painful, but the more you avoid it, the longer your problems will persist, and the more they will grow out of control. The best way to begin is the simple practice of admitting when you've made a mistake. The first person you have to admit your mistake to is yourself. It may seem easy to admit being wrong, but it's not. Throughout our lives, we've taught ourselves to build armor around all the broken and embarrassing little parts of ourselves that make us weak and vulnerable to the systems of the modern world and the people in it. We need to overcome those tendencies, and thinking indigenous and walking the red road is a good way to help us to think and act from a genuine place of honesty in our lives. Integrity. Having integrity simply means clearly communicating what we're going to do and then doing what we say. If we consistently act with integrity, it will build admiration and people will trust us. If we act without integrity, if we break our promises or go against our word, then people won't respect or trust us. It's that simple. When you crumple up a perfect piece of paper, no matter how hard you try to smooth out the wrinkles, it will never be perfectly smooth again. Integrity works in much the same way. In the times of our ancestors, integrity was imperative, because if you said you were going to help to do something, or build something, or bring something, or be somewhere, your integrity could literally be the difference between life and death. Your word was your bond and essential to the health and well-being of Indigenous society. The stakes may not be as high in the modern world, but our integrity is still the primary value that defines our character and how we've chosen to show up in this world. We don't have to say in whether or not we have integrity, and it's not something that we can just declare. Having integrity is something that only other people can say about us. There's no gray area when it comes to having or not having integrity. It can take a lifetime to build and the blink of an eye to lose. When it comes to integrity, the old ones say that we should live our life in such a way that if someone spoke badly about us, no one would ever believe them. Spiritual practice, mind. The South sends us a message on the wind to celebrate life. For doing so will help keep us on our journey of thinking indigenous and leading a spiritual life. But we also have to acknowledge that celebrating life can be an idealistic concept for a lot of people. There are times in all of our lives when everything feels like it's falling apart, and it can be hard to find something we want to celebrate. Many people live in a constant state of anxiety and struggle, and they live that way because society feeds their minds a constant diet of thoughts composed of fear and scarcity. Their worst enemy is the constant internal dialogue going on right between their own two ears. They feel they never have enough of anything: self-esteem, self-confidence, good health, opportunities, money, and so on. And they live in the fear of countless imaginary what-if scenarios. Those thoughts then manifest as recurring themes throughout their lives. They spend their time on this earth lamenting their past, desperately justifying their present condition and fearing their future. They never seem to fully engage in any significant level of meaningful or lasting joy, contentment, or success. They drift between bouts of apathy, waves of anxiety, and the ongoing on again, off again search for some kind of meaning. It may be that living in these conditions is neither good nor bad, but these are the lessons they are here to learn in this life. But as we discussed earlier, if you learn those lessons, you get to move on from being presented with the same ones over and over again. If we are able to step away from fear, we can be abundantly content with what we have, whatever it may be, and find the ability to celebrate life. Those who have found the way to do this are operating at the level of dedicated spiritual warrior. Mind you, they don't spend every day sliding down rainbows or frolicking with unicorns, but for the most part, they're enjoying a higher than average quality of life. Spiritual warriors tend to be intrepid explorers, pioneers, trailblazers, teachers, thought leaders, and creators. They seek a changed life, a life of passion, purpose, and divine work. And they often have a message that's beating inside of them that they need to get out to the world. Why are they this way? It's because of how they think. They have distinct passions that they cultivate, bringing them to advanced levels of spirituality. These spiritual warriors are driven to serve humankind with their talents, gifts, and messages to the world. We've all met these people, and we can all see that they are simply different. But why are they different? The answer is because of the way they see the world and how they see themselves in the world. It's their mindset, which is a way of being conscious of the way we create our own reality. Without a developed mindset, we unconsciously create our reality. And then, when we struggle and suffer in our lives, we can't figure out why. Remember that no matter the circumstance, we are always just one decision away from a totally different life. We just need to make that decision. That decision can be as simple as adopting a brand new mindset, one that will radically shift our perspectives. Here are some basic things that we can stop doing that will immediately impact our life in a positive way. Stop judging others and yourself. Stop criticizing others and yourself. Stop comparing yourself to anyone else. Stop being responsible for others people's problems. Stop living your life trying to please others. Stop being dishonest with yourself and others. Stop living life like you'll do it someday, because you don't have as long as you think you do. Procrastination can be our worst enemy. We tell ourselves that we're going to do something that we know we need to do, but we don't, and we knew all along that we weren't actually going to make the time to do it. Essentially, procrastination is having a lack of integrity with ourselves. There are always other factors at play, like exhaustion at the end of the day, and the emotional damage we put ourselves through with anger and thoughts of inadequacy. But those all feed into procrastination. You have to make that decision and then do it. A powerful solution to overcome procrastination is an ancient practice that comes from the South, the element of air and the second gift of the Creator, our breath. Our breath is the birthplace of intention, and our intention is the foundation of our mindset. Great battles have been won and lost in the mind before a single warrior ever walked onto the battlefield. Success or failure is decided in the mind before a business venture ever gets launched. Enduring love and abject heartbreak are determined in our mind before fidelity ever builds its nest in our heart space. When the topic of spirituality and breath work is discussed, the first thing that usually comes to mind is meditation. Traditional meditation practice takes a dissociative and observational view of our thoughts and actions, but that's not the state of being we need to summon when we celebrate life. Our intention is not to disconnect from these things. Rather, we want to vibrantly connect with our mind, body, and spirit in order to summon energy at will. We want to heighten our senses to allow ourselves to engage the world with the highest and best version of who we are and what we are becoming. The breath of life method is the counterbalance to traditional meditation, in that it's meant not to dissociate and observe, but to activate and engage and light up our physiology at will. I think it's a good place to stop for today. A lot of beautiful medicine in this part. I'll have to come back and read it quite soon, I feel, again. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. And I wish that this night that we're heading into will give you everything that you need. And I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow morning for the rune message, and tomorrow evening for another part of this marvelous book. Thank you so much.